Korea, it's not always that common that students will work in a profession while they're studying. In Australia though, it's very common for people to do part-time work. So if I can give you one bit of advice, if you are going to study in Korea, really try hard to get those internships, those placement programs. Or if you choose to come to Australia, in the case of Macquarie, we've got PACE, which is designated internships within your degree. You can do work projects as well. So some of the companies we do work projects with, and these are a little bit different. Work projects are where, for example, I'll give one with Commonwealth Bank. Commonwealth Bank came onto campus and they said recently the Myanmarian sanctions, you know how Myanmar was sanctioned? Maybe? Do you know where Myanmar is? Burma is another name you might know by. Country in Southeast Asia? That's the third thing we're learning today. We're learning about MOOCs, we're learning about the Internet of Things, and we're learning about, anyway. So since they had a military government that was really bad for the people, United Nations, the World Bank, placed sanctions on them. Aung San Suu Kyi came to power, and they rolled back those sanctions. So all of a sudden, finance companies could move in, banks could move in. So Commonwealth Bank, which is the biggest bank in Australia, they obviously had a team working on this. But what they did then was they came to the university, and with our finance students, they said, here's the problem we faced, let's see how you guys would figure it out. And through situations like that, our students end up getting offered jobs. Because the guy from the bank stays there the whole time. He said, I really like how you guys approach that, or I really like how you approach that. And so again, what this focuses on is that the graduate employment market is tough now. It doesn't matter where you study. If you study in Australia and go back to Korea, having that English degree is no longer guaranteed that you'll get a job. So having practical work experience is really important. Now guys, I talk for those that don't know what they want to do about, and that's, again, I stress that that is a-okay not to know what you want to do, to be a bit confused or maybe undecided, is combining skills. So look at cooking. Again, you don't have to focus on robotics. Perhaps it's marketing that you want to focus on. And this is where you could really develop your own personal brand in that sort of celebrity chef space, or even working with companies that do franchises of restaurants about understanding the cooking and the marketing, or the cooking and the finance. You could get into licenseeships where you bring over like the really popular chains from America, bring it over into Korea, and looking at how much money people would pay to get a franchise going. For the sports stuff, look at both the sports management, but again, look at the finance, look at the marketing, or if you want to focus on the athlete themselves, look at psychology. Combining sports management with psychology, managing these athletes. As they get younger and younger and paid more and more, they actually need people that are good to help them, so they don't just go off the rails, as we often see with the football stars in Australia. Archaeology is another one. Look at both archaeology and geospatial imaging. So that's scanning the ground, or 3D printing is another big one that archaeology is already starting to use a lot of. We've already seen the first 3D printed house. What all this is focusing on is I'll have one skill and another totally unrelated skill that can be drawn together. So again, you might not know what you want to do. If that case, I would say do one business and one IT program. And those sort of skills, they get snapped up so quickly by employers. They really do love it. So guys, this is where I'm going to bring it to an end. Again, I'm not going to take up much of your time. I know you always get talked to by people. They always say, our university's the best, it's the highest rank, this university's great, come to us, whatever, whatever, whatever. I'll say this about Macquarie, we are future focused. What I've talked about today is equipping our students with an uncertain future. And it really is uncertain. The more you read into it, the more people are concerned that technology is going to replace jobs. And it sounds weird to say this, but really high-skilled jobs like doctors, like lawyers, and accountants are some of the first ones to go. The reason is, and the last one to go will be someone that paints a house. The reason for this is that companies can save so much money by having software doing it instead of a human. It sounds scary, it sounds like this is something that's going to be going on in the future, but really guys, for you, you've still got like 5 years maybe until you graduate. This is where it's going to be happening. This is the real risk that you're going to have to face. Working in this digital era, the way you get around that is by embracing it. Look at robotics if you really want to get into that robotic cooking. And believe me, look up online robotic chefs, they already exist. And more they can do things more perfectly